Alright guys, so Ninja Andrew here. Today I am in Little Bohemia and we are doing a how to make money at any level in DCUO really quickly. And to do that we're going to be doing some Exobit farming, which is also going to help you with making your mods. So in order to help us out, I've got here a couple of R&D scanners. You can buy these in the store. You want to make sure that you're not confusing them with radar enhancers. Radar enhancers you would use to find your briefings, investigations, and collections. Luckily, we have an episode that shows you where to go and get your briefings and investigations. And as far as collections go, these are very useful to find the nodes for collection pieces to pick up. But I would say that ideally you would want to play through most of the game, pick up as many collections as possible, and then buy off what you can from the auction house, and then at the end of all that, if you still have one or two left, then get a couple of these and go out and farm the specific area that you would need to farm to get the specific collection that you're trying to complete, because they're useful for that. But if you were to just spend them willy-nilly and put them on everything, then basically you'd be wasting a lot of them to get lots and lots of the same basic collections and not really finding the ones that you needed. So better to just save your time and money and just wait it out, get as many as you can naturally, and then try and finish them off through other means before resorting to this. But as far as R&D scanners go, this is the kind of thing, like, this is what I'm going to do today is what I would do with these. I'm going to take one of them, and I'm in Little Bohemia because I find that there's a good dense population of Exobits out here to farm from. So basically I'm just going to make a circuit. Oh, you can see here. And as soon as I start finding Exobits, I can hear it. Is it just teasing me? Is it underneath? Yeah. Once I start finding Exobits, I'm just going to follow this pattern. So I'm going to go to the next one. And I'm going to try and remember this pattern, so that the next time I come out here, I can do this without a radar enhancer or an R&D enhancer. So they pointed me off in this direction, so I'm going to keep going in this direction. You can see there's tons of them on the map. The trick is just finding the right level of the building where it's located. You can see it's giving me aggressive Exobits. It's going to give me also support and oh god, what are the blue ones called? Something with an F. They'll pop up. But basically those are going to be for modding with your various stats. Each color coordinates and matches to a specific stat or combination of colors and combination of stats. So basically support style characters like healers and controllers are going to want lots of yellows, and then varying degrees of blues and reds, and then tanks are going to want lots of blues, and damage are going to want lots of reds for their loadouts, regardless of what else they choose to combine them with. So depending on your role, you can also decide, like, I personally don't use a lot of blue Exobits, and there's a way to trade them up, so that you can trade them for reds and yellows. It costs marks to do that. And I'll show you where to do that and how to do that at the end of this episode. But basically that should help you out as far as knowing which Exobits it is that you're trying to farm. And we'll take a quick look also at some of the plans and mods that you can make with these. Now, while I've been talking, I've sort of been not paying attention so much as I could be to like where I'm picking these up from. I think this is a duplicate of one of the ones we grabbed earlier, so I'm going to try and go a little bit further down this way. It's easy to get me distracted while I'm talking and playing, so you'll have to forgive me. But I'm also, like, once I finish farming these ones here, I'm also going to quickly go to Gotham and show you guys some locations there as well. Just in case some people like to farm one city more than the other. Or sometimes if you're farming with, like, a friend, you'll have your one path, and then this gives them a way where they can have another path, and you guys can both be out here farming at the same time. And that's something that Misty and I like to do sometimes. Just come out and do this so that we can get some money. Basically, here, I'll go and grab this one real quick. We're over here by the Metro Dome. But when I get 2 seconds here, I'm just going to go in my inventory real quick and show you guys. So you're collecting to get stacks of Exobits. You can see here there's 16 and a full stack before it starts filling up another little square of them. And basically you can sell each of those stacks. I find you can sell them for roughly 350,000 just by shouting out in the watchtower that you have bit stacks for sale at 300k. People will come and they'll open a trade with you, or they'll message you and tell you what colors, or ask you what colors you have, and you can like put that in your shout. Just be like, put it in the trade channel. Just switch to trade channel, select, and then you want to tab over with L1 so you get to trade. Then you want to press select, tap square until you can see down the bottom it says which type of chat I'm doing. When it says trade, then it means everything that I put in is going to be in the trade channel, so everybody in the trade channel can see it. And then you just tap X and you go ahead and type whatever message you want to say, and it'll type it out like that for you. Just for people, like, I know the chat system can be confusing to some people, and they like having multiple chat windows for different items and stuff like that, so they might even have their chat set up differently already. But basically, once you've gone around and collected all of these Exobits, then it makes it really easy to go ahead and either mod your equipment or sell them off for some quick cash. And like, the nice thing about Exobits is that they do have that dual purpose. It's like, regardless of what you're doing, you can make money off of them. Whereas like, you could potentially farm iconic styles. There are like a few iconic styles in the game that go for really high prices, but then you got to think about the time that you spend doing that and the amount of energy and effort that it takes to do that. Like, even for myself, I'm not at a level yet where I can go and farm for certain pieces by myself yet. I would have to ask Misty to help me, and then even if we were doing that, there's no like necessary guarantee that we'll get it. Maybe we'll get it in a week or two or something like that, right? If we do it every day. And then when we get that cash, it'll cover us for another week or two or whatever it is, right? But like, I find that just having a steady income based on Exobits is great, because even if you can't use them all, or even if you don't want to sell them, or if you have money, or if you like, you can always turn them into the mods, or vice versa, essentially. It's like, people will always want bits, you know, for reasonable prices, but sometimes it's even hard to find a buyer for that rare style that you have, or whatever it is that you're trying to sell. So it's like, I just think this is a great way to quickly make some cash or power up your character. So, like, why not, right? I'm gonna leave that one alone because I have no idea where it is. I'm just gonna go for what's easy. You guys can figure that one out. Time is money. You know? And you can hear the sound that they make. And that should be a helpful clue to help you find where they are. As well as the, if you were to go into your settings, turn down your music, your voice, everything else, and just turn up sound effects, you can hear these from, like, I don't know, like this distance away. You'd be able to hear it over there. So, it's not bad. And, like, okay, you can see now. Oh, no, I think maybe my Exobit thing is still going. Okay. We're back at the police station, but that's like a general, like, circuit. And what you would do is you'd continually go around and just look at these spots. Like, is there one here again? No? Okay, let's go back to where we started off. And see, like, okay, is this one back? I can see on my map it's not, which is going to make it quicker for me. Then I can go to the next spot where we saw one. For the purposes of this, I'm just going to go over this way and grab more, even more locations while I have the R&D scanner on. Looks like this guy's farming his rounds already, so I don't want to poach his stuff either too much. But I do have, I do want to show you where these things are as much as possible, so. And you can see, like, I've probably collected enough to make at least one stack, so that's $300,000 easy money right there if I were to go and sell that. Keep chilling out here doing this for a while, you'll have millions, no problem, you know, and fill up your entire inventory with Exobits and then go and sell it on, and, you know, I have a big inventory. I know I could, and if I cleared out some more space, I could fill it up quite a bit. And go and sell that off. It's like guaranteed money. It's money in your pocket. It really does make it easier for everybody in the game to do it this way. And you can see, like, the buying the R&D scanner, they do work for a very long time. Or a decent amount of time. I think it's like 20 minutes or so. I could be wrong. I hear it. But you can see, like, following back around the same sort of pattern that you went in before, looking at those same spots. Now, my memory is going to totally suck when I stop using this R&D scanner, because this isn't my usual farming area. I just know that there's a lot of other Exobits out here. And if I didn't already have a good path for myself that I already had memorized, then this would be where I would probably come to try and make a new path, because I just see Exobits out here all the time. We're just looking. If you don't see any, if you're using a radar and you don't see any Exos in an area for a little while, like, you want to move on. That's right, it was down here. And people are going to obviously use this video to find the locations. of the Exobites, or Exobits rather, just because it'll make it easier for them. And what that may lead to is the over-farming of these particular locations at some point, just because there will be so many people looking for them. These R&D scanners are, you get 2 for 99 cents in this store. So if you have the cash to do this and you haven't done it already, I would suggest going ahead and buying a couple of those for yourself and just going off and finding your own little pattern and path. Places that you can remember, okay, this is where I can go and I can get some quick exos. As long as, oh yeah, that's right, that's that one I couldn't find before. Grab this one. But hopefully this will also help to reinforce where some of these locations are for you guys as well. Because like I wouldn't do like much a bigger of a circuit than this, just because there's so many exos within this area that you're never gonna really run out of locations to farm from. And if you were to increase the size of the circuit, you would just be not getting exos that you could have already been getting. So, is it down? No. Guess we missed it. I don't hear it. Not gonna waste time. Okay, so now my radar has run out. So, like, what you would want to do is maybe go back, watch this video a few times, or play along with it, and just be like, okay, here's a spot, here's a spot, here's a spot, and just try to find your own little path around. And you should be able to get pretty much endless exos if you, like, get used to doing it. Even if you want to buy a couple radars or R&D scanners, rather, just to do this for yourself is not a bad idea. Just to help you get used to looking at some of these locations. Alright. I'll look at a couple more spots and then we will head over to Gotham. I just want to prove that it's possible to do this, you know? And the exos will be there. This one will probably be too short since I last collected it, but there are a couple around here. Alright guys, so I'm going to head to Gotham and we'll pick it up again. Alright guys, so Ninja Andrew here again. This time we are in Gotham by the East End Police Station, and very quickly I'm going to take another R&D scanner. I'm just going to head out. Now, hopefully this will be useful to people who are maybe out doing their missions, raids, whatever, to help you find a couple quick exos while you're out here on the job. But this is another area that is as you head out into Burnley, that is going to be more densely populated with Exobits. There are certain stretches that maybe just don't have so many. I find like areas with low buildings and sort of residential areas of the cities tend to be the easiest to farm in, just because tall buildings, you have to like go all the way up to the top of the building and all the way back down to the bottom and back and forth and all that kind of stuff. I like the short buildings, and they tend to actually have most of the exos also packed in a higher density around on them, so why not, right? Is this it? Okay. Another thing that as I was mentioning before, you want to kind of keep your farming zone or like your circuit kind of limited. And the other reason that you want to do that is because if you want to avoid essentially poachers. And I know it's rough to say in a certain way, but it's just like, I guess like if you're out here farming, you want to make sure that there isn't somebody else on the other side of your circuit who's cleaning up all the bits as you're flying around looking for them, because then you'll be out here wasting a bunch of your time because you're not going to be finding them. So it's kind of like you want to farm a small enough area that you're constantly getting bits, but you want to get a large enough zone as well that you have enough of a selection. But essentially you want to make it seem like there aren't any bits anywhere to collect, because then other people will go on and farm in a different zone because they won't find any, and it just leaves you in peace to go on farming as many as you need. So that's generally the strategy I have. Like, you could go off like on a huge flight path, and I used to do that for collections, but you end up it takes forever to get around, and then you end up like, you come back to the start of where you were farming from, and then you see like 3 other people going around, flying around, looking at the spots you were looking at, and then it's like, now I have to look for a new spot to farm from. And that's what, like, I'm just trying to give my best tips. Like, if you're trying to do this to make money, to get mods, you want to do it, like, and, okay, to be fair, I'm not out here farming 24/7. I'm just saying while you're farming, you know? It's like, you want to make the best of it. You want to be able to get as many as possible, so these are just the tips that I have, guys. And you can see here, sometimes it'll give you a double drop. I've also gotten fully formed Exobites off of drops, but that's usually after having farmed like 1,000 of them consecutively. So it's not like I'm getting like ridiculous numbers of those, but it does happen, and it's nice when it does because it makes your job a little easier. I guess the real thing is that it's like, at some point within this game, if you're planning on getting everything, you're going to have wanted to have farmed like this, collected each individual exhibit 25,000 times, and that's just right now. That's not even like, they haven't even added in like some other craziness where, who knows, maybe you have to farm 50,000 or 100,000 of these things by the time it's all said and done. So just start crying now, because it's a lot of work when you don't have
the R&D scanner to come out here and get all of these, it's kind of like, oh man. But another thing you could do is, like, while you're watching this video, when you see a spot where I have like a bunch of them shown up on the screen, like this, right? Pause the video, where I am, get a good idea of where I am in the city, you know, and then look for those 4 spots yourself without, you don't need the scanner, right? Because you know they're going to be within this area. And then you can look at the spots that I go here to collect them, and then that'll help you be like, oh, okay, so here's 4 spots really close together where I can just kind of fly around these 2 buildings, and, you know, every once in a while I'll get some Exobits, you know? Really easy. And you can be like, oh, there's some more over this way. I just hope this helps people, because I know that, like, even for myself, when I'm doing it with the scanner, I'm not really paying as much attention, because it's sort of like you want to get as many as you can and make the best of the scanner, but at least it gives people an idea of where they are, and then they can go back, and even I can go back and look at some of these locations later and be like, oh, okay. Because this will even be a tool that will help me. Because I haven't done this before. Filming. Farming. At some point, much later in the game, I'll probably do one for some of the more rare collection areas in the game with a radar enhancer. But for now, I'm just going to leave that alone. Just because I'm not going to get what I need quite yet if I go and do it. I'm literally just trying to cover as much ground for you guys as possible and show you as many of these locations as possible. And we'll take a look at... I was dumb because I should have emptied out my inventory first, or counted how many Exobits I had to start with so I could show you how many that this did end up getting for me. I guess I could count how many I collected in the videos, but I am way too lazy for that and have better things to do with my time, so I'm sorry. But at least, like, you can tell that I've collected enough for at least a few stacks here, like, combined total between Metropolis and by the time I'll finish here in Gotham. So, hopefully, like, if you just keep running those circuits and farming them up, like, you'll be making millions in no time. And I find it's good to just have, like, a base of, like, a few million just for your repairs and colas, sort of at this stage in the game where Misty and I are at, where you're going to be raiding on a constant basis every week, and you're going to be needing to make colas quite often, and the colas can add up and become expensive depending on what type you're making. So this is just a great way to get some pocket cash, essentially. See, there are quite a few on the map again as well. left here somewhere. There you go. So I'm going to look for all these locations. Oh, see? Okay. Now if there's 4 that way, I'm going for this one first. Wow. It's Exobit heaven, guys. Try to get all these before the R&D scanner wears out. Also, like, when you're flying for these, like, if you are using a scanner, you can kind of make an approximation of, like, okay, where do you think this one's going to be? Oh, come on, I hate it when it does that. Makes you look down. Just for reference, this is Monarch playing cards. That's Ace Chemicals over there in the distance. So hopefully that'll help you guys as far as referencing the locations for these ones. They just grabbed that one up there on the roof, but that's no problem. You can see they get snapped up quite quickly if there are people hanging around in the zones where they drop. Ooh, piece of candy. Alright. So I would sort of limit my search to sort of like this side of the water. There are quite a few locations also in the Diamond District and in the South Gotham area, but I would say that this side of the city is probably just the easiest to farm because of the low buildings. You're going to just have an easier time getting from point A to point B. As well, the Diamond District and Robinson Park, while they do have them, they're like all scattered high and low on like pillars and stuff, and it just takes a lot more work to get them there. And there's fewer of them. Less densely populated area, so this is that one. So I'm gonna head back. Like I've sort of I haven't made the complete circuit here because I could have gone back for towards Bane's area because he's got quite a few around him as well. Come on. I hate that. It's like... There it is. You only really want to waste so much time looking for one while you're on a radar. Or R&D enhancer. Oh. Sorry, bro. Here. You want it? It's a support. No? Hold on. I gotta... Oh, there you go. There's the little gift. You can have it. Trade. That's cool. Right on, right on. Alright, so... And our R&D enhancers ran out. Dang it. That's okay. That will be the end of our little pathway out into Gotham, I can tell you that all of these areas here with low buildings, those would be the areas that I would check out. The other thing here is that if you see other exhibits in your travels, you can add them to your memory log of all of the locations that you are trying to remember to do this from, and that can probably help you out too. The other thing is if you really have trouble memorizing where these locations are, just play along with the video every time. It's gonna find you the bits, you're gonna be able to trade them for the money. I don't see why not, you know? Alright guys, so I'm gonna end the episode here. I'm going to be going very shortly after this to the Watchtower, and Misty and I will do a quick episode on modding for you guys. So basically what to do with all these exos now that you have them, if you want to improve your combat rating and your armor. So basically we'll be going over all of that in another episode very soon. But hopefully this will help you guys gather some of the supplies that you'll need in order to do some of that and make some cash to buy even more supplies. So hopefully this has helped you guys out. If it did, you know, mail me a stack of your extra exos, man. I helped you out. Do it, pretty please. No, you don't have to, but just if you guys end up using this a lot to get your exos, that would be cool. But no worries. Also, Misty and I are going to be looking to we're trying to get 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, so that we can turn this into an actual thing that we can do to make money and have fun and do stuff. So, if you guys like this video and it helps you out, please just hit the subscribe button. It'll really help us out, and we'd really appreciate it. And thank you for joining me. And we'll be back again with more epic adventures with DorkNinjaGaming. Thanks for watching.